This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
This is Faith Under Fire. We take you straight to the front lines of religious battlegrounds. I'm news anchor Sarah Harnisch. With me today, focus on the family's issues analyst, Zachary Mettler. We're talking the Super Bowl. It is the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks this weekend. And while there's excitement about action on the field, there's controversy about content at the halftime show watched by some 100 million people. This year, for the first time, Turning Point USA will be hosting its own halftime show. What do you think of what they're billing as an all-American halftime?
I honestly think this is a phenomenal idea. Competition is as American as apple pie in football, and for too long there has been zero competition when it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show. The Super Bowl, their halftimes have only gotten worse. They're nearly unwatchable. I know for myself and for many others who like watching the Super Bowl, we find the halftime show generally something to absolutely stay away from. And there's so many parents who fear watching it because they have no idea what kind of content is going to come on, and there's going to be scantily clad people watching. And TPUSA's halftime show especially, I think, is promising because it's going to feature American culture, freedom, and faith. And I think that that's going to be a great alternative to what the regular Super Bowl halftime show normally is.
They're not messing around. It's going to start right as the halftime show for the Super Bowl begins and end right when the NFL halftime show ends, designed to trump the show and divert the audience for 12 to 15 minutes. It'll be streaming on Daily Wire, national news desks, and all Turning Point USA platforms February 8th. Do you think that they'll draw a decent audience?
I think most Americans, and especially the vast majority of parents, are hungry for fun, family-friendly content that they don't have to fear needing to switch the channel at any moment's notice. I think there's a huge demand for this kind of content, and I just applaud TPUSA for recognizing that reality and then tapping into what so many American, and especially American parents, are feeling like they need. I think there could be millions of Americans, potentially tens of millions, who choose to change the channel and tune into an event that is deliberately designed to be family-friendly and to have family-friendly content. So I'm excited to hear about how many millions of people that they can draw away from the regular Super Bowl halftime show.
The headline act at Levi's Stadium for the NFL game will feature Grammy-winning music artist Bad Bunny, who says that he's going to use the time to promote Latin queer icons. He says he wants to pay homage to generations of drag resistance and cultural rebellion. What say you?
Well, I think Bad Bunny lives up to his name. You know, he's known for wearing the occasional dress, for supporting illegal immigration, and even promoting different LGBT causes. And I think for tens of millions of Americans who are Christians, who are conservatives, they have absolutely no interest in tuning into a performance of an individual who's going to likely use the time to support causes that are just the absolute antithesis of what so many conservative Christians support.
Turning Point's Choice Act is not without controversy. Kid Rock has a history of rough lyrics, especially toward minors, and many are wondering why they didn't pick someone like Carrie Underwood or a crossover like Toby Mac to perform. Kid Rock said Bad Bunny will have a dance party, wear a dress, just like you just said, Zach, and he'll sing in Spanish. We plan great songs for folks who love America. I don't want to tear apart the heart of what TPUSA is doing, but do you think that Kid Rock can be kid-friendly?
Kid Rock certainly has a checkered past in terms of the songs that he's performed, and I do think the All-American halftime show is likely going to be more family-friendly than Kid Rock normally is, but I like TPUSA's way of doing something better than everyone else's way of not doing something. So their willingness to provide an alternative to the regular halftime show, you know, it might not be perfect. Kid Rock certainly is not my normal cup of tea, but again, if they're the only organization that's willing to provide a real Super Bowl halftime alternative, then I'm certainly game for that.
In the past, the NFL has featured scantily clothed artists. I think about Jennifer Lopez. During regular season games, you're wrestling with nonstop sports betting ads, which lure people into gambling. It seems like gone are the days when you would take your kids to a ballpark, get a hot dog, and have a G-rated field, or in this case, a G-rated screen. Do you think that more wholesome halftime shows will send the message to the NFL that America wants sports to return to its roots and be family friendly?
Yeah, I think if the NFL sees their Super Bowl halftime show audience numbers crater, I think TPUSA could have a really successful All-American halftime show, and that could certainly prompt the NFL to get the message. There's some polls that I looked at that found that at least 71% of American parents want more family-friendly content. They want to be able to watch content, entertainment as a family, and not have to be worried about changing the channel at a moment's notice because they don't know what's going to pop up on the screen. And, if there's something that most American companies and corporations understand, it's supply and demand. And right now there is great demand on behalf of families for more family-friendly content. And I think that's why TPUSA has an opening right now to provide exactly what is needed during this year's Super Bowl.
Charlie Kirk was the founder of Turning Point, and his funeral was not just a service. You and I have spoken on this before. You can go to the Family Life website and check out Zach and our podcast we did on this topic. It was a day of worship, and it was a chance to reach people for Jesus Christ. It was incredible to see so many politicians, hands in the air, praising God at that event. What would you love to see at a Turning Point halftime show?
TPUSA, I give them credit, especially since Charlie's assassination. They have not been shy about incorporating faith into their content and programs, and that was especially true at Charlie's memorial service, which was perhaps the largest proclamation of the gospel in American history, in world history, really. I think there was 100 million or so people that tuned into Charlie's memorial service, which rivals any Super Bowl audience. But, I would love to see some more of that kind of content going forward. Maybe next year I'd love to see Chris Tomlin. He performed at the memorial service. I think he would do just a phenomenal job, or Matthew West, or Brandon Lake. There's so many good Christian artists that I think most Americans would love to hear as an alternative to what Super Bowl is promoting.
What would you say to Christians that are watching the big game and it's halftime?
We often talk about voting our values, and we have to view our values too. For most Americans, that includes changing the channel during the Super Bowl halftime this year and tuning into what TPUSA, what they can provide as an alternative. I'd really encourage Christians to consider their options. Do we really want to tune into a performance of Bad Bunny, who's going to likely use the time to champion far-left causes, or do we want to tune into a performance of an organization founded by Charlie Kirk that's promising to provide a family-friendly alternative? So for me, that's kind of asking whether I'd like to eat celery or steak. It's just not a hard choice in my mind.
We're all going to go for the steak for sure, but no A1. You got to go for straight steak, just steak. I'm a steak purist.
I'm with you.
Turning Point is best known for speaking the truth of Jesus Christ. And you just mentioned it, to a world that believes otherwise. Charlie was famous for it. Zach, why does it matter to stand up for the truth, even if you have to create an entire halftime show to do it?
I think of Scripture where it says, we are the light of the world, and a town built on a hill cannot be hidden. And that's our role as Christians in this culture, especially this Sunday. I think it provides a really great, really easy opportunity that all Americans can help participate in standing up for the truth, standing up for what is good, by doing something very easy, and that's just turning the channel on Sunday.
Learn more at focusonthefamily.com.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.